He did it again. Logan Paul, the YouTube star turned wrestler, the man who swore he was here to prove himself as a legitimate competitor, the performer who claimed he wanted to earn respect the right way, just revealed himself to be exactly what everyone feared he was: a fraud, a cheat, a coward hiding behind brass knuckles and stolen victories. And the SmackDown crowd? They didn't just boo. They erupted. They turned on Logan with a fury that made the arena shake. They rejected him so completely, so unanimously, so viciously that even Logan, who thrives on attention whether it's positive or negative, looked shaken by the wall of pure hatred coming from every direction. This wasn't just heel heat. This wasn't the fun, boo the bad guy energy that makes wrestling entertaining. This was genuine rejection. This was thousands of fans simultaneously realizing they'd been played. That Logan's whole "I respect this business" act was nothing but manipulation designed to get them on his side before he showed his true colors. What you're about to witness isn't just the breakdown of a match where Logan cheated to win. This is the story of how Logan Paul destroyed whatever goodwill he'd built with the WWE Universe in one segment. How he went from being a surprisingly legitimate performer that even skeptics had to respect, to being the most hated man on SmackDown. And the terrifying part? Logan doesn't seem to care. In fact, he seems to be feeding off the hatred. Embracing it. Reveling in the fact that he just conned thousands of fans into believing he was something he's not. Because that's what Logan does best. He manipulates. He deceives. He plays the game better than almost anyone, not the wrestling game, but the attention game. And right now, whether you love him or hate him, you're talking about him. Mission accomplished. Let's set the stage, because what led to this moment of betrayal makes it even more devastating. Logan Paul has had a complicated relationship with the WWE Universe since signing with the company. When he first arrived, the reaction was mixed at best. Wrestling purists hated the idea of a YouTuber taking a spot from someone who had paid their dues on the independent scene. Casual fans were curious but skeptical about whether Logan could actually perform at a high level. But then something unexpected happened. Logan was good. Really good. His athleticism was undeniable. His timing improved with each match. His willingness to take risks and put his body on the line earned him grudging respect even from haters. The match against Roman Reigns at Crown Jewel? Impressive. The work with top-tier opponents showed Logan could hang with the best. His performances weren't just good for a celebrity, they were genuinely quality wrestling that demonstrated real skill. And slowly the WWE Universe started to come around. Started to think maybe we were wrong about Logan. Maybe he's actually here for the right reasons. Maybe he really does respect the business and wants to be a legitimate wrestler rather than just a celebrity cashing in. Logan played into that narrative perfectly. His promos talked about earning respect. About proving himself. About showing that he belongs in a WWE ring not because of his YouTube following, but because he can perform at the highest level. The WWE Universe started to believe him, started to get behind him, started to think that maybe Logan Paul was the rare celebrity who actually gets it, who understands what professional wrestling means to its fans, who is willing to do the work rather than just showing up for the paycheck and the publicity. And then SmackDown happened. And Logan shattered that illusion in the most brutal way possible. Question right here: did you ever really believe Logan Paul was in this for the right reasons, or were you always skeptical? Honest answers only in the comments. The match itself started clean. That's what makes the ending so infuriating. Logan's opponent, a talented wrestler who had been building momentum, someone the crowd was invested in seeing succeed, came out to a huge reaction. The WWE Universe was ready to watch a competitive match between two performers bringing their best. And for the first portion of the match, that's exactly what we got. Logan and his opponent traded offense. The work was crisp. The near falls were believable. Logan was showing off the athleticism that had earned him respect, the frog splash that looks perfect, the timing on counters, the ability to make everything look smooth. The crowd was into it. They were engaged. They were split in their support, with some cheering for Logan and others supporting his opponent, but everyone was invested in seeing how this played out. Logan was working face, playing to the crowd, doing all the things that babyface wrestlers do to get the audience behind them. And it was working. The cheers for Logan were getting louder as the match progressed. This was the Logan Paul that the WWE Universe had started to accept. The performer who could deliver in big moments. The athlete who made you forget he was a YouTube star and just appreciate his work. And then, it all fell apart. Logan's opponent was mounting a comeback. The crowd was getting hotter. The finish was approaching. You could feel it building to that crescendo moment where one competitor would pull out the victory. Logan was in trouble. His opponent had taken control. The momentum had shifted. Logan was on the defensive, absorbing punishment, looking like he might actually lose this match cleanly. And that's when Logan made his choice. That's when he decided that winning mattered more than respect. That's when he showed his true colors. The referee was distracted. A perfectly timed moment where their back was turned, dealing with something happening outside the ring. Standard wrestling psychology: refs get distracted, heels take advantage. But Logan Paul wasn't supposed to be a heel. Logan Paul was the guy who was earning respect by doing things the right way. Logan Paul was supposed to be above these kinds of tactics. Logan reached into his trunks, pulled out brass knuckles. The most obvious, blatant, old-school method of cheating in professional wrestling. The crowd saw it. The camera caught it. There was no ambiguity about what was happening. Logan Paul was about to hit his opponent with a foreign object to steal a victory he couldn't earn legitimately. And the arena exploded in boos. Not the boo the heel because that's fun energy, but genuine anger. Genuine betrayal. The sound of thousands of fans simultaneously realizing they'd been conned. Logan hesitated for just a second. You could see it on his face the moment where he heard that reaction and understood what he was about to do. The moment where he had a choice between maintaining the respect he'd built or throwing it away for a cheap win. He chose the cheap win. Boom. Brass knuckles to the skull. His opponent crumpled like they'd been shot. Logan tossed the weapon out of the ring as the referee turned around, covered his unconscious opponent. 1, 2, 3. Victory for Logan Paul. But at what cost? The reaction was immediate and brutal. The boos didn't stop when the 3 count hit. They got louder. They got more intense. They turned into a wave of pure rejection that washed over Logan Paul as he stood in that ring with his arm raised. Usually when a heel wins by cheating, there's a mixture of reactions. Some boos. Some heat. Maybe some scattered cheers from fans who appreciate good heel work. But there's usually something that suggests people are entertained even if they're supposed to hate what just happened. This was different. This was total rejection. The entire arena was united in their hatred of what they just witnessed. Signs were being thrown toward the ring. The "you sold out" chants started and didn't stop. People were screaming their disapproval in a way that made it clear this wasn't fun heel heat, this was actual anger. Logan stood in the center of the ring soaking it in. And here's what made it even more infuriating: he was smiling. Not the embarrassed smile of someone who realizes they made a mistake, but the smug smile of someone who planned this, who wanted this reaction, who successfully manipulated thousands of people into caring about him just so he could rip the rug out from under them. He grabbed a microphone. The boos got louder, but Logan didn't care. He waited, letting the hatred wash over him, letting it build, letting everyone in that arena express their fury before he finally spoke. "Did you really think I was here to earn your respect?" The boos somehow got even louder. People were standing now, screaming their rejection. "Did you really think I gave a damn about honoring the business or proving myself or any of that garbage you wanted to believe?" Logan's voice had changed. The friendly, respectful tone he'd been using in previous promos was gone. In its place was pure arrogance, pure contempt for everyone who had started to believe in him. "I'm Logan Paul. I'm the biggest influencer on the planet. I have more followers than any 10 of your favorite wrestlers combined. I don't need to prove anything to you. I don't need your respect. I don't need to do things the right way." He paused, letting the hatred build even more. "I just need to win. And I'll do whatever it takes to win. Because unlike all these real wrestlers you love so much, I understand that in the end, nobody remembers how you won. They just remember that you won. And I just won." Let's talk about what makes this so devastating from a storytelling perspective. The WWE Universe had been on a journey with Logan Paul. They started from a place of skepticism and gradually reluctantly began to accept him. That journey had value. It meant something to fans who had initially rejected Logan to eventually admit, okay, maybe he's actually legit. Maybe he's earned his place here. That acceptance was hard-won. Logan had to prove himself match after match. He had to show respect. He had to demonstrate that he understood what being a professional wrestler means. He had to earn every bit of goodwill he received. And in one segment, Logan destroyed all of that. He revealed that the entire journey was a lie. That he was playing a character, the respectful outsider trying to fit in specifically to manipulate the audience into caring about him. That kind of betrayal hits differently than standard heel turns. Because it's not just a character making a villainous choice. It's Logan Paul, the person showing that he's willing to con his audience for attention and heat. And the genius, the absolutely infuriating genius of it is that it worked. Logan got exactly what he wanted. Maximum attention. Maximum heat. Maximum engagement. Whether people love him or hate him, they're talking about him. And in the attention economy that Logan has mastered, that's all that matters. Question: is Logan Paul a genius for working everyone, or a sellout who destroyed his credibility for cheap heat? Wrestling philosophy question answer in the comments. The aftermath in the arena was unlike anything we've seen in recent memory. Usually after a big moment, even a heel moment, the show continues. The next segment starts. The audience refocuses on whatever's happening next. Wrestling fans understand the rhythm of a show and move with it. Not this time. The boos continued even after Logan left the ring. The "Logan's a fraud" chants kept going through the next segment. The crowd was so angry, so invested in rejecting what they just witnessed, that they couldn't just move on. Production had to adjust on the fly. Commentary had to acknowledge the continued negative reaction. The wrestlers in the next segment had to work harder to get the crowd refocused on what was happening in front of them rather than what had just happened. That's how total the rejection was. That's how deeply Logan's betrayal cut. The WWE Universe wasn't just booing a heel, they were expressing genuine disappointment in someone they had started to believe in. Social media exploded immediately. The clips went viral within minutes. But unlike Logan's previous viral moments, which had been celebrations of his athletic achievements, these were negative. People sharing the footage to express their anger, to document their betrayal, to rally others in rejecting Logan Paul completely. The hashtags weren't hashtag Logan Paul amazing move or hashtag Logan Paul respect. They were hashtag Logan Paul cheater, hashtag never trust Logan, hashtag Logan Paul fraud. The narrative flipped completely in the span of one segment. Let's talk about the brass knuckles specifically, because the choice of weapon matters. Logan could have cheated in more subtle ways. A low blow when the ref wasn't looking, grabbing the tights during a pin, using the ropes for leverage. Wrestling has dozens of ways to cheat that maintain some plausible deniability. But Logan chose brass knuckles. The most obvious, blatant, unmistakable form of cheating possible. A foreign object that has been used by heels for decades. The kind of cheating that leaves no doubt about your intentions. That was deliberate. Logan wanted there to be no ambiguity. He wanted everyone to know he was cheating. He wanted to make it impossible for anyone to defend him or make excuses. Maybe the ref just didn't see it. Nope. The camera caught it perfectly. The crowd saw it. There's no question about what happened. Maybe it was an accident. Nope. You don't accidentally pull brass knuckles from your trunks and hit someone with them. This was premeditated. Maybe he was just doing what he had to do to win. That's exactly the point. Logan is outright saying that winning matters more than integrity. That he'll do whatever it takes even if it means being a cheating coward. The brass knuckles were a statement. A deliberate choice to make his heel turn as clear and undeniable as possible. To leave no room for anyone to claim this was just a momentary lapse in judgment. This was Logan Paul revealing his true character. And that character is someone who will lie, cheat, and manipulate to get what he wants. Let's talk about Logan's opponent and how this affects their story. This wasn't just about Logan. Someone else was in that ring. Someone who was having a good match with Logan. Someone who was getting over with the crowd. Someone whose momentum just got destroyed by losing to brass knuckles. In wrestling, how you lose matters almost as much as whether you lose. Losing a competitive match after giving everything you have? That's respectable. That can actually build a wrestler even in defeat. But losing because your opponent cheated with the most blatant weapon possible? That's humiliating. That makes you look like a fool who got played. That undermines all the good work you did in the match itself. Logan's opponent now has to deal with the aftermath of this loss. Do they demand a rematch? Do they go after Logan for revenge? Do they file a complaint with WWE management? How do they respond to being robbed of a potential victory? And more importantly, does the WWE Universe still believe in them? Or did this loss, even though it was by cheating, still damage their credibility and momentum? That's the collateral damage of Logan's decision. He didn't just affect his own standing with the audience, he potentially damaged another wrestler's career trajectory in the process. Let's analyze Logan's promo after the match, because the words matter almost as much as the action. "I don't need your respect." That's the key line. That's Logan explicitly rejecting the journey he'd been on, admitting that all the talk about earning respect and proving himself was manipulation. By saying he doesn't need respect, Logan is positioning himself above the typical wrestling hierarchy. Most wrestlers, even heels, still care on some level about what the audience thinks. They want to be cool heels, badass heels, heels that people secretly admire even while booing. Logan is saying he doesn't even want that. He's saying your opinion literally doesn't matter to him. That he's operating on a different level where crowd reaction is irrelevant because his fame and influence exist outside the wrestling bubble. That's next level heel work. That's not just "I'm the bad guy." That's "I'm so far above this that your hatred means nothing to me." It's also potentially dangerous from a business perspective, because if Logan truly convinces the audience that he doesn't care about their reaction, they might stop giving reactions. They might tune out rather than continuing to invest in booing him. The line between heat-generating heel and go-away heat is thin, and Logan is walking that line like a tightrope. Real talk question: is there a difference between good heel heat and go-away heat, and which one is Logan generating right now? Expert analysis in the comments, please. Let's talk about WWE's position in all of this, because they're in a complicated spot. On one hand, Logan Paul generates attention. He brings eyeballs from outside the wrestling bubble. He creates viral moments. He's a draw in the sense that people will tune in to see what he does whether they love him or hate him. From a business perspective, Logan is valuable. His social media presence alone gives WWE access to millions of potential fans who might never watch wrestling otherwise. But on the other hand, Logan just torched whatever goodwill he'd built with the core wrestling audience. The fans who actually buy tickets and subscribe to Peacock and support the product week after week are now furious with him. WWE has to balance those competing interests. Keep Logan around because he generates attention and brings in casual viewers? Or recognize that he's alienating the core audience that actually sustains the business long term? There's also the question of whether this was WWE's idea or Logan's. Did creative suggest this heel turn because they thought it would generate heat and create storylines? Or did Logan push for this because he's more comfortable being hated than trying to maintain a face persona? The answer matters because it determines who bears responsibility for potentially damaging Logan's standing with the audience beyond repair. Let's talk about the future storylines this creates, because WWE now has options. Revenge program: Logan's opponent demands a rematch. A no disqualification match where cheating is legal and they can get revenge for being screwed. This gives the audience what they want, seeing Logan pay for what he did. Authority intervention: a GM or authority figure punishes Logan for his blatant cheating. Fines, suspensions, being forced into unfavorable match situations. This positions WWE management as listening to fan outrage and holding Logan accountable. Pride before the fall: Logan continues cheating his way to victories, building up more and more heat, until he finally faces someone he can't cheat to beat. A veteran who has seen every trick in the book. Someone who humbles Logan and shows him that cheap tactics only work for so long. The conspiracy: what if Logan's not working alone? What if there's someone backing him, providing him with weapons, helping him cheat? This opens up a larger storyline with multiple moving parts and reveals. Each of these directions has potential. Each creates drama and gives the audience a reason to stay invested in Logan's story even though they hate him. The question is whether WWE will commit to one direction or try to do too much and muddy the waters. Let's talk about Logan's psychology and why he might have made this choice. Logan Paul is smart. Say what you want about his morals or his methods, but the man understands attention better than almost anyone alive. He built an empire on being able to predict what will generate maximum engagement. And Logan knows something that many wrestlers don't: negative attention is still attention. Going viral for being hated is still going viral. As long as people are talking about you, you're winning the attention game. Logan probably recognized that his respectful outsider character had a ceiling. He could maintain it and be a mid-card face that people mildly liked but never fully embraced. Or he could blow it up and become the most hated person on the show, generating more heat than anyone else. From a pure attention economy perspective, heel Logan is more valuable than face Logan. Heel Logan creates more conversation, more controversy, more viral moments. Logan is willing to sacrifice being liked for being talked about. And in his world, the influencer world, that's the right calculation. But professional wrestling isn't just the influencer world. Wrestling has its own rules, its own culture, its own expectations. And Logan might be about to learn that pissing off the wrestling audience has consequences that his YouTube followers can't protect him from. The crowd's rejection continued even after SmackDown went off the air. Social media reports from people who were in the arena suggest that Logan was being booed in the parking lot. People were chanting negative slogans as he left the building. That's unprecedented. That's the kind of heat that goes beyond kayfabe and enters the territory of genuine negative sentiment. WWE has to be concerned about this. They've had heels that generated heat before. They've had heels that were hated. But usually there's an underlying current of, we appreciate that you're good at your job of making us hate you. With Logan, it's murkier. Are people booing because they appreciate his heel work? Or are they booing because they genuinely resent his presence in WWE and wish he would just go away? That distinction matters. One kind of heat is valuable. The other is toxic. Let's talk about the brass knuckles as a symbol, because in modern wrestling, they represent something specific. Brass knuckles are old school. They're the weapon that classic heels used in the territory days. They represent a certain type of cheating: blatant, obvious, cowardly. Modern heels tend to cheat in more sophisticated ways. Interference from allies, exploiting rules, playing mind games. The brass knuckles feel almost retro in their obviousness. By choosing such an old-school method of cheating, Logan is positioning himself as a classic heel in the most traditional sense. He's not trying to be cool or edgy. He's being a straight-up coward who can't win without a weapon. That's a choice. Logan could have cheated in more modern ways that might have generated different reactions. But he went classic. He went obvious. He went with the method that leaves no doubt about what kind of character he's playing. Question: should modern wrestling use more old-school heel tactics like brass knuckles, or are they outdated? Traditional versus modern wrestling philosophy debate in the comments. The final moment. You want to know where this goes? You want to know if Logan Paul just destroyed his WWE career or if this is the beginning of his most successful run? It depends. It depends on whether the WWE Universe continues to show up to boo Logan or whether they tune out completely. It depends on whether WWE can turn this nuclear heat into compelling storylines that give fans satisfaction. It depends on whether Logan is willing to eventually take his comeuppance or if he's going to keep winning by cheating until people stop caring. What we witnessed on SmackDown wasn't just a heel turn, it was a statement. Logan Paul declaring that he doesn't need or want the wrestling world's acceptance, that he's here to win by any means necessary and he doesn't care if everyone hates him for it. The brass knuckles weren't just a weapon, they were a symbol. A representation of Logan revealing his true character after months of pretending to be something he's not. The crowd's rejection wasn't just booing a heel, it was thousands of fans expressing genuine betrayal after starting to believe in someone who turned out to be exactly what they feared from the beginning. Logan Paul cheated. The crowd rejected him totally. And the wrestling world is now divided between those who think this is brilliant heel work and those who think Logan just committed career suicide. But here's what we know for certain: Logan accomplished his goal. Everyone is talking about him. The segment went viral. The heat is real. And whether you love it or hate it, you just spent time watching and thinking about Logan Paul. He's a fraud. He's a cheat. He's everything wrong with celebrity wrestlers who don't respect the business. But he's also the most talked about person from SmackDown. He generated more conversation than anything else on the show. He created a moment that people will remember. So who's really winning here? The fans who rejected him? Or Logan, who just proved once again that he's the master of generating attention regardless of whether it's positive or negative? Logan Paul cheated again. The SmackDown crowd booed the entire segment. And in doing so, they gave Logan exactly what he wanted. Welcome to the Logan Paul heel era, where the only thing that matters is that you're watching. Where being hated is just as valuable as being loved. Where a YouTube star continues to play by his own rules while the wrestling world screams in protest. You hate him? Good. That means it's working. You want to see him lose? Perfect. That means you'll keep watching until he does. You think he's ruining wrestling? Congratulations. You just engaged with his content and